Hi, so my name is Ramiz. This is Ithnan and this is Umid. And today we'll be presenting our project, which is the patient database scanner. So what is one of the problems that is plaguing healthcare today? And that is file and data storage. So for each patient, there are lots of files and that are stored within a certain area. And as more and more patients are coming into clinics and hospitals, more and more files are being made, and this would require more storage. So and for each patient there is depending on their stay in the hospital, the file size can increase, which would like I said before, just would require more space. A problem that arises from this is when a patient comes in second time or third time, the correct retrieval of their file takes a long time. So that would waste a lot of time because the healthcare provider would have to look for their specific file. And this can also lead to problems like retrieving the wrong file or retrieving the wrong page in the file. So what is our solution for all of this? And that is a QR code. So a QR code or a quick response code would be basically storing all their information of each patient into a single QR code. So what we decided was we could make a database which would have the information of all the patients, and for each patient, there would be a QR code that would be generated. And upon scanning it, it would show all the patient history, medical history, and anything that is relevant to the healthcare provider. Now, a QR code, as opposed to a barcode, is actually better because it is bigger. It's vertical, it can store more information, whereas a barcode is horizontal and can store less information. And it's easily accessible by both the patient and the healthcare provider. So what we thought was we can make a wristband that would have the QR code on it, and it would have very small details that would be relevant, like the patient's name. But most of the information would be stored on a QR code. Another idea is that we can have AR integration onto the QR code or onto the wristband. And this would include stuff like prescription or their appointment times. So this is helpful because the patient would be able to take the QR code wristband home, and it would have the information that they can scan and see it even when they're outside of the hospital.
So a few things that can be deduced from all this is that there's a certain impact of the QR code, which the first one would be that less paper is used and wristbands can be reprinted in case it's lost. So retrieval is quite easy. Another thing is that information is shared easily and conveniently between the patient and the healthcare provider, therefore still keeping the patient confidentiality rules. Using AR technology, prescriptions and other healthcare related information can also be added and updated, which leads us to our fourth point, that it can easily be updated to add information to best suit the patient. Now, in society, how is this implemented? Well, Epic software is one of them, and that is a newly implemented patient database that requires patient's health card and has stored all of the information on it. It contains information only available to the healthcare provider. It has a collection of the appointments, healthcare related issues, and prescription times. However, it is slow compared to our QR code scanner because it requires a patient to manually input the data. My apologies, not patient, a person to manually input the data. The database would then use the information stored on Epic, but place it on one QR code for each patient so that it can be accessed by both patient and doctor. Now, the second way that this can be implemented is through the wristbands that are used in hospitals, which of course, as you see when you walk in and see it on all the patients, is that the wristbands contain patient information. Our idea would then implement the idea of the QR code would be on the band and can be scanned at ease. Now, in order to create our idea, a few materials would be needed. The first one being an ESP32 kit. Of course, then we would also need a camera module, a computer that can be accessed at all times, wires, a USB or SD card that can be used for data storage, and a foil or coin, which is going to be used as a conductive material. Now, we ran into a few problems when trying to implement and create our idea. The first one being unpredictable delivery time change, as the delivery date on the camera module that would be used was changed to January 5th, which is very inconvenient for us. The second problem that we ran into was in regards to ESP32, as saving the data on the server was not helping and was very hard for us.
Now, we used a couple of alternative approaches to tackle all the problems we faced. The first one was that we wanted to generate a QR code. So basically for this, we installed the ESP8266 QR code library, and we wanted to generate a secure QR code and display it on the OLED screen. However, there were issues we faced because as we wanted to upload the code onto the OLED screen, there was an error we faced, and it was saying that the library was incompatible, and so we were not able to to complete this process. So the second alternative approach was to use a fingerprint scanner. Here, what we wanted to do is, so we'll have the patient place their finger on the scanner, and this would then pull up the patient records for the healthcare provider to see. So, and the information would be easily editable. So this would make life easy, so much easier for the healthcare provider, as all the patient's information, health record will be in one place, and it is easily accessible. And once again, this whole process would be very eco-friendly as well. So in order to build this project, we use the capacitive touch. So basically, again, we are using the Arduino board, and we plugged a wire into the GPIO 13 or a pin, or the pin number 5, and the other end of the metal of the wire, we wanted to connect it to a metal piece. So it could be a foil or it could be a coin. And this slide represents the code we wanted to send to the Arduino. And now this is a demo of how it works. So basically, you can see me that I'm placing my finger on the coin, and as a result, you can see that the numbers are changing on the slide. So what we wanted to do is that the patient would place their finger on the scanner, and their information would put up on this on the computer. So basically what we're trying to do is that we were trying to use conductive touch from a human finger for input. Now, the goal was to have patient information come up on the screen, and for their information to get stored. However, when we tried to do that, we were facing problems with the ESP32, and it was not letting us save data to a server. These are the references we used for this module, for this project. Thank you so much for listening to us.